And throughout that ceremony, the giant screen, and it is a giant screen here at Vale Park, just had a single poppy on it with the phrase, "Lest we forget." The players come to the sideline to remove their training tops. FA Cup first round, Aaron. I love the FA Cup. Last season was weird because Burton had a couple of home ties against Chippenham and Needham Mark. It got to the third round, drew Grimsby away. We were there at 5:30 on a Saturday night, and it was a real damp squib. It's such a strange competition, isn't it? It could give you the highs, it could give you the lows.
Definitely, Fletch. And over the years, even in my time of loving football and being interested in it, even watching it as a kid, and the stories, some of them are absolutely bonkers, aren't they? Even with, was it Essendon who was signed from Teletext?
Yes.
Teletext, and he gets
Leicester.
He gets the winning goal.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely crazy, especially thinking and talking about the modern day game. And that's how he got a deal at Wycombe, and he scored a goal in the FA Cup.
No social media back in those days. Roy Essendon, remember him well. I think he was on television as well, and that's another aspect of the FA Cup that just feeds into the narrative. A lot more focus on it, even at these early stages. 2 games last night. Sheffield United went ahead against Walsall, eventually lost by 4-1, and a 3-3 draw at Oakwell. Remarkable between Horsham of the non-league and Barnsley. Anything can happen in the next 90 minutes. The referee is Simon Mather, and he is just waiting. They always wait. Why do they always wait? They always wait for something. They can't just get on with it. And we are indeed underway in the FA Cup. Straight away, Port Vale looking to play the ball forward, and now is half an opportunity for Berrily Labala over on the right-hand side, but the ball is eventually worked back to Connor Ripley, who in the league game, and I know you weren't here, but in the league game, you'll have seen him before. He stands on the halfway line when Port Vale are attacking. It is the most bizarre thing I think I've ever seen. Connor Ripley really fancies himself as an outfield footballer.
He did the same last year, Fletch, when we came here, and I don't know, it's something you don't see all the time, but even if you watch Manchester United games these days, you can see Anana's positioning when he wants to receive the ball, and sometimes it's 15 yards outside of his 18-yard box. It's adding another player to create overloads and just outnumber the opposition to play around them.
There's Tom Sang playing the ball forward down the right-hand side, looking for it. Piezu, he brings it under control close to the corner flag, gets kicked twice by Mustafa Carriel, gets back to his feet, goes around Ryan Sweeney, who drags him to the ground, and it's a free kick to Port Vale. And an early booking, blimey, that is an early booking for Ryan Sweeney. Just barely 70 seconds on the clock, and the centre-back's in the referee's notebook.
It's the yellow card, Fletch. Even though we are 70 seconds into the game, it's one of them where there can be an argument of, it's the first challenge I've made. But in the positioning, it's 2 or 3 yards outside of the 18-yard box, right by the byline. It's a really threatening position where the striker would have drove into the box and then created a chance for somebody else.
Tom Sang will have the opportunity. He is no more than 5 yards outside of the penalty area on the right-hand side. Very close to the dead ball line, 10 yards in from the corner flag. Second minute has just ticked by. Sang raises his right arm aloft and clips the ball into the air. It's a free header, and it's tipped over the bar by Max Crocombe. In fact, Crocombe didn't get a touch. It might even have touched the crossbar itself. The header from Ben Garrity, not too far away, and he rose completely unmarked in the middle.
It's one of them situations, Fletch. It's a difficult ball to deliver and at speed and with real pace, because it's not a corner. It's 15 yards more infield. So the quality on the ball from Sang was really good, and Albion, they've not woke up by the looks of it, because it was a free header, and luckily it's hit the top of the crossbar. I think it was Nathan Smith, actually. Sorry to correct you, but you've been on to me ever since I've been here, so yes, I'm correcting you, Dave Fletcher.
Yeah, I thought it was the number 8, but I'll go with Nathan Smith, and I'll check on social media in a moment, see which one of us was right. Here is Cass on the right hand side.
So long for being United. You've not said that for a long time.
We're together. We're absolutely together. Ball on the left hand side. for Port Vale. Alfie Devine plays ball down to the right. Sang cuts in field. Sang with a little ball forward to the man who didn't have the header a moment ago. And now here he is inside the penalty area. Good sliding challenge this time from Sweeney. Denies Garrity the opportunity to cross the ball. And
Port Vale social media have got it wrong as well, because that was Garrity who actually just got to the byline with a dangerous move by Vale. A nice little give and go in the box, but well defended by Albion.
Doesn't matter. It didn't go in.
It does matter, as it was Nathan Smith who hit the top of the bar. I don't want to lie to the listeners.
Sang with the corner from the right-hand side. Plays it to the penalty spot. The goal, the initial header was goalwards. The second one goes over the top, this time from Alfie Devine, unless Aaron says otherwise, and it's a goal kick.
Right. We must have different team sheets, Fletch, because that was Ben Garrity who rose then in the Albion
box. He had the first header, but
yes,
it was the second header that went over the bar.
Yeah, it was Ben Garrity who won the first phase.
I'm not bothered about him.
Right, let's get back to football.
Sweeney
Sorry, everybody.
Plays the ball forward towards Josh Walker. Nice little touch, picks out Mark Helm. Helm on a little run. He's got Labala to his right. Labala crosses the ball. A little one round the corner from Josh Walker. Tried to flick it in. In fact, didn't get much of a contact on it in the end, and it's picked up by Connor Ripley. But I'm just noticing that Labala isn't playing as the striker. Josh Walker is. So Labala's playing wide on the right-hand side with Jake Caprice. Mustafa Carriel rather on the left-hand side. Jake Caprice is actually playing at right back and Tom Hamer at left back, so they have changed a number of things. Interesting. Cass plays the ball back.
I think that's one thing around Dino Marmaria's teams, Fletch. He can leave you asking questions. You never know quite sure how they can line up. They've got so much variety in this squad these days. So I think even Port Vale might have been baffled by a couple of things of how Albion have lined up today.
Sang plays a little ball in field. Now it's worked back to the right hand side, and Cass goes short to Sang, crosses it in with his right foot. Ikpeazu brings it under control. Garrity will play it across the penalty area. Outstretched right foot from Max Crocombe. Might have got a little touch on it. It was Arblaster who put it in. And Burton Albion clear it away, and they're going to have to wake up. You said that they don't look like they've woken up. Well, they're at sixes and sevens at the moment when Port Vale are attacking.
They are, Fletch, because just look now with how Vale can get 40 yards up the pitch without no one being near them to lay a glove on them, and Albion just they've started too passively, especially in a FA Cup tie, a local game as well. They're just sitting off Vale, and on this big pitch Vale can pass and move it really well.
Referee waves play on because Port Vale had an advantage and are still in possession, and eventually Burton Albion will clear it. Labala inside his own penalty area. They don't really want him there, and now it's been smashed away by Mustafa Carriel, who gets caught by a trailing leg of Lewis Cass, and it will be a free kick to Burton. Barrow has scored a third at Northampton. They lead 3-1. Doncaster have taken the lead against Accrington. Harrogate are 1-up at Marine. Early goals in the FA Cup today. Reading 1, MK Dons 0. Yeovil lead Gateshead. Aldershot are already 2-up at Swindon, and of course Stevenage lead Tranmere by a goal to 0. We will be back, never in doubt, we'll be back at the Impact Arena fairly shortly for an update of the early stages of their FA Cup tie with Worthing, as Crocombe plays the ball from the free kick long, and it dribbles out for a throw-in very close to the corner flag on the right hand side in defence for Port Vale. Not exactly what Max Crocombe was looking for. Throw-in will be taken. We're getting signs from Bray, who's sitting in the row in front with the Burton Albion media team. Ball is out for another throw, and this time it's this one's gone to Port Vale as well. Tom Hamer was fairly convinced it was a Burton Albion throw. The Burton fans, I think they've counted those seats precisely and put the barriers in their way, because they are packed together behind the goal away to our right hand side as the ball is played forward to Arblaster. He tries to feed it forward, but it's just cut out there by Ryan Sweeney on a booking, remember. Jasper Moon plays it to his right, and Labala, who is very deep, plays it back to Max Crocombe. Now Moon to Caprice over on the right hand side, back to Jasper Moon again, takes a touch to take him away from Ikpeazu, and then goes long towards Josh Walker, but it's over his head. headed back into the Burton Albion half, and Arblaster turns and plays it forward, but Sweeney cuts that one out, and here's Hamer playing at left back, forward to Mustafa Carriol. Oshalaja gives it back to Tom Hamer, just getting a few touches, trying to settle down as much as anything, it seems, as Powell finds Moon, and now it's to the right hand side and Caprice plays a long ball forward, looking for Helm on the far side, and he plays a good ball forward, and Caprice is on the attack. Walker's racing to get into the penalty area. He was just being held back. There's claims, outstretched arms from Dino Marmee. He was never going to get a penalty there. There was certainly contact, and it's cleared by Port Vale up to halfway. Joe Powell nods it down for Hamer. This is much better from the Brewers. Carriol, little ball forward to Oshalaja on the left hand side. Back to Mustafa Carriol again. It just slows down momentarily. Plays it in field to Helm. Helm goes wide to the right hand side, and Caprice. He's got Labala ahead of him, tight with the touchline, and finds him. In fact, it was a poor pass from Jake Caprice, and Carriol couldn't keep the ball in play. And it's a throw-in to Port Vale with 9 minutes gone.
With the first 7 minutes, Fletch, Albion have needed that cooling off period. So, like you mentioned, they started just to pass the ball around. They weren't really making any kind of coverage up the pitch, but just keeping possession, just settles everyone down. And then when they did spring forward, there's a great overlapping run by Jake Caprice, and he delivers a great ball across the box. Just with the start of Albion, because they're playing very deep, when they do spring into attack, there wasn't many players forward in the box. So this is what I'd like to see of Albion more. The first opening 7 minutes, it's like they're lining up like they're playing a Premier League side. This is kind of my era of time of playing teams in 3 or 4 leagues above, and you're giving them the utmost respect because you actually know they're better than you. Today, Albion 2 points ahead of Port Vale in League One. Yeah. Yes, I just think they've just shown a little bit too much respect in the opening stages of this game. Yeah,
when they came here back in September, had Port Vale won, which of course they didn't because Burton won 3-2, Port Vale would have gone top of League One. They've been on a fairly disappointing run since then, 1 or 2 injuries as well. And they're now below Burton Albion in the table. Cass plays the ball forward. That's too long, and it'll be picked up by Max Crocombe, dressed in all red-ish this afternoon. Been some more FA Cup. There will be hundreds of FA Cup goals, and I will miss some of them, and for that I apologise. But Harrogate still lead at Marine. Notts County are trailing by a goal to 0 at home to Crawley. Salford lead at Peterborough. Hamer plays the ball in field to Joe Powell, and then Powell gives it back to him, but he was all a bit crowded, and here comes Arblaster for the home side. A terrific challenge by Tom Hamer, which I was certain was going to be a foul. It's left Arblaster on the floor, and he can barely move. In the meantime, Oshalaja plays the ball to Labala on the right hand side. The Port Vale man remains down. Labala on his left foot goes for goal and sticks it in the Port Vale fans behind the goal away to our left hand side, which will allow, I'm fairly sure, Ollie Arblaster the opportunity to get some treatment, and that will give us an early opportunity to get to the Impact Arena. You don't forget you can listen to commentary of that game online, Alfreton against Worthing. But let's get an update from Kasper Misiash.
Yes, Dave, we've just seen the best chance of the game as Aguiar had a shot from outside the area on a half volley for the visitors, but as far as the game is being played, Worthing have most of possession. They can't convert the chances though. It's still Alfreton Town 0, Worthing FC 0.
Thank you, Kasper. BBC Sport website and app. Go to the live football page. You will find the link to Kasper and Darren Robinson's commentary there. Still treatment being administered on the pitch. Bristol Rovers have taken the lead at home to Whitby. That's never a good thing, is it? Leyton Orient lead Carlisle United by a goal to 0. And I think Aldershot have got a third now at Swindon Town. What on earth is going on at Swindon Town? And Yeovil 1, Gateshead 0. This is a good opportunity here, Aaron. Dino Marmee's got the entire 10 outfield players together, and it will give him an opportunity to say, look, come on boys, we've got to be better than this.
Yes, definitely, Fletch, and but I think the players are actually doing what Dino wants him to do. So in recent weeks, on this great run they've been on, this is how they've lined up, with the back four who are very narrow, but with the wingers very deep, so at times it looks like a back six. With having 6 players that deep, you're going to let the opposition get up the pitch high into your half, without any contact on them. Josh Walker can't cover all the ground to press the back three and the goalkeeper. Mark Helm can't really support him in that because the pitch is huge. There's loads of space to kind of cover. So the work of when Port Vale play out to a wider centre half, then you see Deji Oshilaja come out to the left, or Mark Helm on the other side. But then they're already in Burton Albion's half then. So, but that is Dino's style, and that's what's worked.
I'm a bit surprised to see a slight potentially change in formation. He's just called Barry Labala across for some extra advice, as Ollie Arblaster is now on his feet and walking rather gingerly towards the near touchline, but I fancy he's going to continue. It was a very strong challenge from Tom Hamer. Very
tough challenge, Fletcher, and I was really happy that the referee didn't give it, because I think he did get the man, he got the ball and the man, but I think our game's turning into, one day it's going to be non-contact with the penalties and the decisions that are given these days. So it was really nice to see the referee didn't give that one.
Get back to those balls with the laces in them. That'd sort them out. Sweeney nods the ball forward. It's headed back into Burton territory, and Jake Caprice just buys himself a little time by faking to clear it downfield. Brentford lead West Ham in the Premier League. Everton have won up on Brighton and Hove Albion. It's 1-1 now, I'm told.
It sums your day up.
Like that's important. Carriol plays it back to Hamer. Into Helm, who's in a bit of space, 15-20 yards outside of the penalty area, gives it to Jake Caprice on the edge of the centre circle. He runs forward. There are players now inside the penalty area in yellow shirts, and Labala will cross it in, but it's blocked by the first man, James Plant. He caught him amidships, I think, and he's down, breathing heavily.
It's not
hurts that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's not a good place to be.
That is nasty.
The ball to hit, yeah.
Vale Park is not a good place to be hit. You're absolutely right. He'll be okay though. There's nothing the physio can do for him. And Tom Hamer's going to cross to the right hand side, where ordinarily he would be operating, but he's playing at left back today for potentially a long throw in the first of the game. 15.5 minutes gone. Still 0-0 on BBC Radio Derby, and Hamer launches the ball into the penalty area from the right hand side. It's headed away initially by Nathan Smith. Hamer nods it back to the edge of the box, and Port Vale get it away. I just thought for a moment, yeah, absolutely. As Mustafa Carriol went in for the head, or the header rather, his head was almost removed from its shoulders by a high boot, and it is a free kick to Burton Albion, an indirect free kick to Burton. Are they indirect?
I'm going to play devil's advocate. Should it be a free kick given if there's no contact? I don't want to see footballers have stud marks across the cheeks or anything like that, but it's not a challenge or aggressive. He's gone to lift the ball over Mustafa Carriol's head. Carriol shows great bravery, Fletch, because he's actually trying to put a challenge in with his head when the ball's quite high. Should that be given as a free kick?
Yes. Whitby have equalised at Bristol Rovers, and the free kick is taken short shot from distance from Joe Powell. It's on target, but straight to Connor Ripley, just to the left hand side of his goal. Fairly comfortable in the end, but worth an effort from that distance. Definitely,
with the conditions, and the pitch is really wet out there, and with that left foot Joe Powell possesses, is definitely worth a go.
Well, now then, we've given the ball away here. Port Vale, and Helm is in. He was fouled. Now then, the referee's got a decision to make here. He's gone to his pocket. He's going to send Nathan Smith off, and he has. And Nathan Smith, the Port Vale skipper, with the challenge on Mark Helm. He was the last man, you know. He was the last man. He goes. Port Vale down to 10. Free kick to Burton. Huge advantage, Aaron.
Yes, it was sloppy play by Port Vale initially, and Mark Helm springs upon a loose ball. It does superbly to ride the first challenge, and then the next one, he tries to ride it again. He just meets the ball first. And referee, I'm really not sure if that's a red card. It's in a wider position in the frame of the 18-yard box, but it's wide. But we don't have amber cards, Fletch, and that's what card I would have given.
You've gone soft. Wycombe Wanderers have taken the lead at Bradford City in the FA Cup. Free kick to Burton Albion. 3-4 yards outside the penalty area to the right of the D. It's Joe Powell territory to a T. I thought he was going to walk away from the ball then for a moment, but he's still there.
No
He's
chance.
just measuring his walk. He's measuring his run-up. Referee blows his whistle. Powell with the free kick. Curls it in, hits the top of the bar and over. Terrific effort from Joe Powell, but it remains 0-0. The home fans are not happy.
Super strike from Joe Powell. Like I said, with the Mark Helm, when he actually won the free kick and with the Port Vale player being sent off, it's in a real wide position, so there was no chance Joe Powell was going to walk away from that being on the right hand side, Fletch, but it's got to be a worldie to actually score past Connor Ripley then. But the strike's lovely, great pace on it, lovely dip, it just hits the top of the crossbar.
There's an injury now to the home goalkeeper Connor Ripley, who leapt for that ball, didn't get a touch on it obviously as it went over the bar, and he is down now and needs some treatment, which will give us a chance just to run through one or two scores, and then Dom can jump in and correct me.
You've been corrected a few times already.
Absolute. I'm sticking with my original. My original who-headed.
No.
Yeah. No,
it was definitely blonde hair, and he's been sent off.
And I'm going to watch the highlights tonight. I don't normally watch highlights of football.
If you do, will you send me a WhatsApp apologising? And then will you put it on Twitter? Aaron, I was wrong.
But I won't need to. I'm going to take a little video of it and I'll send it to you. You wouldn't think we got on, would you, really? Notts County 1, Crawley Town 1. Dan Crowley with the equaliser for Notts County. Curzon Ashton trailed Barnet by a 1-0. There's lots of boos around this place. They're not happy, are they, the home fans at all for some reason, but I think it's probably because Nathan Smith, their skipper, has been sent off. That might be the reason, who knows. But he was sent off on 19 minutes or so into the game, something like that. And then we had the free kick from Joe Powell that hit the top of the crossbar and went over. But it remains 0-0. The good news is Connor Ripley's okay after his little bit of treatment. It's just added a bit of spice to the whole event.
He was always going to be okay, Connor Ripley, weren't he?
I thought so.
Going down after a free kick hit the bar.
I want you two
just going down to 10 men.
Newport have taken the lead against Oldham in the FA Cup. Shane McLaughlin with the goal on 20 minutes there. Jake Caprice, but I'm not letting you in now. Jake Caprice plays the ball forward to Labala.
I was just about to say, are you sure?
I'm going to do a 90-minute commentary here without any summarising. I'm not. Wimbledon lead Cheltenham by 1-0. Here is Oshalaja playing the ball forward, looking for the run of Josh Walker. Lewis Cass will get there first and give it to Ripley, and he will clear it first time up towards the halfway line. Sweeney battling with Ikpeazu, does well. There was nothing wrong with that. Calm down, everybody.
His shirt was being lifted up to his shoulders, though. You could see his whole midriff, Fletch, then. Not to say it was a free kick, but you could see skin.
Never been a free kick. It's in midfield with Devine. Plays it to his right-hand side, and Arblaster 5 yards inside the Burton Albion half. Forward it goes to Ikpeazu. He's got Tom Hamer with him. Cuts into the penalty area, takes an extra touch, and it's cleared out on the near side by Deji Oshalaja for a Port Vale throw that's already been taken. Ball is slid forward to Sang. Sang crosses it in, diving header away and behind for a corner from Ryan Sweeney. Had to get the header in there, did so.
Yes, he
another
did.
Corner to
he
Port
definitely
Vale.
did, Fletch, because we've seen Sang's got really good delivery, and Port Vale worked themselves into a really lovely crossing position on this right-hand side. But being that left centre half, marking that near post area, don't let that ball come past you. Great defending.
Sang with the corner, it's headed down and back towards the corner taker by Tom Hamer. In comes Joe Powell to hammer it over the halfway line, where it'll be collected by Connor Ripley, who is as ever in a very advanced position. Ball played to the right hand side, and Funzo Ojo now back to Ripley. He goes to the left hand side for Port Vale and then gets it back. Rushall Olympic 0, Southport 1 in the FA Cup as the ball is played over the top, but that's too long and will be collected by Max Crocombe, who's gone on a little bit of a trip outside the penalty area. He's lost possession, chance for Port Vale. What a terrific sliding challenge, a double sliding challenge comes in from Moon and Sweeney after Crocombe had gone walkabout, Arblaster denied.
And that's something you can't be complacent, Fletch. If you're an Albion player out there today playing against the 10 men, you can't have a moment. Vale are not going to let you have a moment. We've heard the fans; they're up in roars of frustration since the team's gone down to 10 men. Max Crocombe should just kick the ball in the stand there.
Sang with the corner referee spotted a foul by a Port Vale player inside the area, and that'll be a free kick to Burton Albion. Stockport County 1, Worksop Town 1 in the FA Cup. Jay Rollins with the goal there. Bristol Rovers have regained the lead against Whitby. They lead by 2 goals to 1. The referee's getting some stick from the home fans. Hereford 0, Gillingham 1 in the FA Cup as well, and Southport are 1 up at Rushall Olympic. Marcus Carver with the goal for the Sandgrounders. Here's Mustafa Carriol inside his own half. Joe Powell takes it off him and goes on a little run. He bursts between a couple of defenders, pokes it forward to Walker. Walker does well to bring that one under control because it was it was struck really hard. And here is Labala. Labala gives it back to Helm and now goes wide to Caprice. Caprice managed to stay onside, gets the cross in, but it's straight into the hands of Connor Ripley, who's already wasting time.
Yeah, and Fletch, he's going to be very prominent in the rest of this game, even with you mentioning his starting position and the positions he takes up and on the pitch. He might play a little bit higher now just to try and add another outfield player in possession for Port Vale, because obviously they're down to 10 men. So, and obviously he should have work to do with his team having less players on the field. We've got 65 minutes plus the injury time of both halves. I will just like Albion and Dino just to throw a little bit more caution to the wind. Are we going to see less of this 6 at the back kind of a thing and let Port Vale just get into Albion's half? It shouldn't happen with the 10 men, so that's going to be interesting for me to see.
Goal kick, Burton Albion, taken short by Max Crocombe to Jasper Moon. Marine 1, Harrogate Town 1, Chris Doyle equalising for the Merseysiders, and Bristol Rovers, Giovanni Brown has just got a third. They lead Whitby Town by 3 goals to 1. Here it's 0-0 on BBC Radio Derby, 26 minutes on the clock. Helm plays a little ball round the corner looking for Labala, but it was well read by the Vale defence, and the ball is back with Connor Ripley just outside his penalty area. Right foot, plays it to Lewis Cass. Cass has got Sang outside him, but goes along to Arblaster on the halfway line. Hamer battling hard for the ball and wins it back, then loses it, then wins it back again. And here's Mark Helm running forward towards the penalty area, still going Helm. He's got Carriol to his left, picks him out. 3 players in yellow shirts inside the penalty area. Goes on to his right foot, but can't get past the defender. Clearance isn't particularly good though, and Oshalaja gives it back to Tom Hamer on his right foot. Just standing, waiting for an option. Gets it back from Oshalaja. All this taking place close to the touchline on the left-hand side, midway inside the Port Vale half. Carriol, square ball into midfield. Helm then sweeps it away to Jake Caprice, who goes on a run. Picks out Labala on the right-hand side. Labala looks up, little step over, 2 step overs, loses the ball. James Plant took it off him, plays it forward, and Ikpeazu holds it up just inside his own half and wins a free kick. Jasper Moon was giving him a bit too much attention, and it remains 0-0.
This crowd, as well as Connor Ripley, are going to have an important part to play in today's game. They are not going to give this referee a moment's breath. Every decision, everything that's tight, what can go either way, they're going to try their utmost best to try and influence the referee.
Alfie Devine over on the left-hand side for Port Vale in their white shirts, black shorts and white socks. Now they go back to Lewis Cass. Jason Lowe with the pass. Now Sang on this near side on halfway. Cuts back infield towards the centre circle. Gives it to Devine. Little run forward from him towards the edge of the penalty area. Plays the ball infield to Ojo. Ojo to Sang. He's got Arblaster to his right. Goes for goal himself. Sticks it into the Burton Albion fans behind the goal away to the right-hand side. Half an hour or thereabouts gone here, and it remains 0-0. That was a poor shot, wasn't it?
It was a poor shot.
Really. What do you think?
Sang's shown really good quality in this opening 28 minutes of the game, Fletch. You can see he's got a good, trusty right foot. He whips a lovely ball in. So if you're 25 yards out with that quality, it's exactly the same for Albion. If Joe Power's in that position on his left foot with an opportunity to shoot, I'd say do it. But obviously, he's got to hit it on target. His shot goes 10 yards over the bar.
West Ham have taken the lead at Brentford. Jared Bowen making it 2-1 as Sweeney clears the ball downfield up towards halfway. Oshilaja can't bring it under control, and Port Vale have it back, or have they given it away? They have, to Verily Labala. Stretches his legs, goes forward. He's got Helm to his right, picks out Caprice instead. Back infield to Labala, and now Caprice once again. Labala goes forward and the ball goes back to Jasper Moon on the halfway line. Short ball forward to Jake Caprice. Luke Norris, former Stevenage man, has equalised for Tranmere at Broadhall Way. Crossfield ball, decent, picks out Mustafa Carriel on the left hand side. Running forward and going to the byline, crosses it in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Arriving late was Josh Walker, couldn't get a touch on it. Then there's a foul by Tom Hamer. It's a free kick to Stevenage. 29 minutes gone here. Let's find out the latest from the Impact Arena. Don't forget, you can listen to commentary on this online via the BBC Sport website, but with the latest, here's Kasper Misiash.
Yes, Dave, still goalless here at the Impact Arena. Still Worthing dominating possession. A couple of chances go each way, but none dangerous enough. And a penalty shout as well from the Alfreton players as Fulis took it past the goalkeeper, had an attempt on goal, and he claimed a handball from one of the defenders chasing him, but not given. It's still goalless here at the Impact Arena, half an hour in.
Thank you, Kasper. BBC Sport website and app for full commentary on that game with Kasper Misiash and Darren Robinson. Port Vale just playing the ball around at the back at the moment, trying to take any sting out of the game. Down to 10 men, remember, following the red card shown to Nathan Smith. Since then, Burton have hit the crossbar from the resulting free kick. Here's Deji Oshilaja inside the centre circle. Labala picks it up and feeds it to Caprice wide on the right-hand side. Step over from him. James Plant, the man in front of him, pokes it forward, goes to the byline, tries to get around the outside of Plant, can't quite do so, comes off Plant last, but the linesman on the far side says free kick against Jake Caprice, and Port Vale will be able to clear their lines. One result in the FA Cup already. It's now finished at Sixfields. Northampton 1, Barrow 3. Scarborough have taken the lead against Forest Green. Alex Wiles with the goal there. Harrogate Town have regained the lead at Marine. They lead by 2-1. Manchester City in the Premier League are ahead against Bournemouth. Here are Port Vale on the halfway line. Ojo plays a little ball forward to Alfie Devine. Now Ojo gets it back, still inside the centre circle. Forward to Garrity. Everything's going through Ojo in that centre circle at the moment. Now they come to the right-hand side and Sang plays it forward, easily cut out by Sweeney. He plays it forward to Joe Powell, and then Hamer just knocks it down the left-hand touchline, but the ball spins out into touch on the near side for a Port Vale throw.
Fletch, a couple of situations that happened in the last couple of minutes when you've been giving out the latest scores. You know, just when Albion win the ball back, I want him to take a lot more risk in forward runs or passes forward just to break lines or put Port Vale on the back foot, because it's still Port Vale who are probably dominating possession and they're down to 10 men. But when Albion do get the ball and win it back, we don't want to keep the ball, but they should be able to. They should be looking to, no, we're playing against the man less.
Should always be a spare man.
Yes, we want to hurt them a little bit more. So if they get that, if they play the extra 1 or 2 passes, Vale are going to be able to get back with the 9 men behind the ball, and then Albion have to keep the ball. So it's really important, if Albion do win the ball back in them central areas, they've got to go for broke a little bit more rather than playing with caution.
Port Vale are looking for a way through that line of 6 defenders. Mustafa Carriel and Verily Labala both getting back to act as auxiliary fullbacks, and just for a moment Ikpeazu might have got in there, then the ball is eventually sent across from the right hand side by Alfie Devine, and it goes behind for a goal kick. Manchester City have got a second goal against Bournemouth. Barry Bannon's been sent off for Sheffield Wednesday. Cambridge lead Bracknell by a goal to nil. Rush Olympic have equalised against Southport in the FA Cup. Hamer on the near side.
Sorry, Fletch. Me and Don were just screwing at FPL. Haaland's not scored out of the 2 goals, so
could not care less. As you know, Sweeney gives it to Hamer. Enjoy the game for what it is. Back to Sweeney.
We're maximising the game.
Or go and support a Premier League side that you've got no connection with. Hamer plays the ball downfield, looking to get it over the top of Lewis Cass. Can't do so. He heads it down. Ojo picks it up on the halfway line. Goes forward to Ikpeazu, being marked by Sweeney. Drops it off though. Nice little ball into the penalty area, looking for the run of Garrity by Arblaster. Burton get it back. Sweeney does a full 360 and gives it to Crocombe on the edge of his 6-yard box, and he fires it downfield over the head of Helm on the halfway line. Excellent work from Labala. Wins it back, and Helm plays it to Jake Caprice. Caprice gives it to Jasper Moon, and now those two swap passes. Moon just points forward, stands on the ball. Port Vale have dropped back into their defensive formation, effectively playing 4 at the back now instead of 3 central defenders following the 17th minute sending off of Nathan Smith. Hamer has it. Got to be careful here. Plays it into the penalty area. Crocombe on the stretch, clears it with his left foot after taking a touch with his right. And forward it goes. Jason Lowe brings it under control, and James Plant plays it back to his goalkeeper, who just has a little touch on it, and Walker almost capitalised, manages to feed it away to his right hand side, and now Arblaster picks it up on the halfway line. That was a nice pass infield to Devine. They just calm it down again. Then they will try, I think, the way that they'll go about this now is to keep the ball as much as they can, and then just try and spring the trap every so often, isn't it?
And I'd say that they're better at Albion at doing that. You can see a couple of their passes, Fletch, like that one infield from Sang. It's purposeful. It breaks a line, so one of them passes might take 4 or 5 men out of the game, but they're not going to be in no real rush to do that all the time. But also they've got Ikpeazu up front too. He's a very big target man, and is a great outlet for them if they wanted to play back to front.
He's quite slow though.
Yeah, he makes runs in behind. You can see he's been quite angrily remonstrating with teammates when that ball doesn't go in behind, but when the ball goes into his chest or his feet, he's giving Ryan Sweeney a task there.
Caprice plays the ball forward, offside flag goes up against Beverly Labala on the far side. Free kick to Port Vale. 0-0 with 9 minutes plus stoppage time, and there'll be a fair amount of stoppage time given the sending off and the treatment to 2 different Port Vale players. Ollie Arblaster early, Connor Ripley after the free kick that hit the crossbar from Joe Powell. But it remains 0-0. Not much between the sides, and the crowd's just gone a bit quiet for the time being, which is no bad thing from a Burton Albion perspective. Buxton have fallen behind at Bishop's Stortford in the National North as Port Vale look to prize an opening in the Burton Albion defence. Ojo plays a little ball to his right and Sang, and now it's gone all the way back to Connor Ripley in the goal away to our left hand side. He's 10 yards outside of his penalty area, which is standard. And he goes long, and it goes all the way through to Max Crocombe. He's got to do better than that. A 3rd goal for Manchester City, and still Erling Haaland hasn't scored. They lead Bournemouth by 3 goals to 0.
Can't believe it.
Bradford City are 2 down at home to Wycombe Wanderers in the FA Cup.
You said that with real kind of joy in your voice when you said he's not scored.
I'm just making the most of football.
Okay.
Here's Crocombe. I'm getting my fun out of Fantasy Premier League in your disappointment. Forward it goes to Des Yoshalaja, who tried to flick it on, I think, but managed to knock it back to Tom Hamer instead. Hamer gets a return pass from Joe Powell, picks out Carriol. Carriol forward towards Oshalaja. He can't take the ball with him. It's played up towards Ikpeazu. He's got Sweeney with him. Sweeney's already been booked, remember, and Carriol does him a favour by nicking the ball away from the pair of them. and playing it across to Jake Caprice, who is sharp and he's on his bike. It was a heavy touch, but he managed to get to the ball and give it to Berily Labala. Infield it comes to Joe Powell on the edge of the centre circle to the right of the centre spot. Diagonal ball. Oshalaja will keep it in, crosses it in with his left foot, but can't keep it in play from the cross, and that will be another goal kick to Port Vale.
Fletch, I think that's a disappointing ball from Joe Powell with his left foot on this big pitch, but when he receives it in that deep lying position, or quarterback position people call it these days, and even more so with a goalkeeper whose starting position is very high in Connor Ripley for Port Vale, I want Joe Powell to be scanning all the time just to see where he is before he even brings down the ball, before his first touch, just knowing. And then his first touch can set him up for a strike, even if it's 60 yards out, because Joe Powell is capable of that.
Blaster plays the ball down this near side. Foot in there from Carriol, denies Sang, and it's picked up by Hamer. He gives it to Carriol. He's gone back to Ryan Sweeney, who's inside his own penalty area. Gives it to Max Crocombe. Bolton have taken the lead against Solihull Moors in the FA Cup. Their skipper Ricardo Santos with the goal at the Tough Sheet Community Stadium. There is Jasper Moon on the edge of his own penalty area. Stockport now lead Worksop by 2-1, also in the FA Cup. Crocombe, long ball downfield. Up goes Josh Walker on the far side. Ball doesn't go into touch. It's picked up by Port Vale, and Ojo moves towards the centre circle. Plays a little ball to his right, and Tom Sang. Sang gives it to Arblaster, back to Sang again. Labala tries to win it back. In fact, Labala and Walker have now swapped, so Labala's gone through the middle. That was a challenge from Mustafa Carriol that was a little bit agricultural, to say the least, and it's a free kick to Port Vale.
It's a forwards challenge, but it's nice to see Mustafa Carriol laying the glove on someone in the opposition half rather than being in a kind of full-back position.
Ball, unsurprisingly, is back with Connor Ripley. It's not been a Blood and Thunder Cup tie as yet. Plenty of time for that, though. As the ball is clipped forward by Ripley towards the halfway line. Nick Piezo, challenged by Sweeney, can't get the header where he wants it to go, and Helm gives it to Oshalaja, now wide to Caprice. Walker to his right, picks up the ball, almost went under his foot. He's got Caprice behind him. I'm not sure he knew he was there, and now Joe Powell has it. Powell can shoot from that kind of distance, but gives it to Hamer instead, and now Carriol on the left-hand side. 10 yards from the dead ball line as he crosses that one in towards the near post. It's Labala who controls it, but he's offside. And that's another free kick to Port Vale.
Labala does really well to get across the near post and then to fend his man off after really good wing play by Carriol. I'm not sure I saw a handball in that. I just want to go back to a couple of seconds before Fletch, when Albion won the ball in around the halfway line, and this is what they need more of. Tom Hamer then plays a ball into Berry Labala's feet. He broke a line and he took 4 Port Vale men out of the game, but then we pass it square or backwards after.
Labala is dispossessed on the edge of the penalty area after being played in by Mark Helm. It was a lovely little touch by him, but he was surrounded by white-shirted defenders, Labala, and as a result lost possession, and now Josh Walker on the far side has conceded the throw-in to the home side. 0-0 here, BBC Radio Derby. About 3 minutes of normal time to go. It's still 0-0 at the Impact Arena. We'll be back there at half-time with Casper Misiash and Darren Robinson also in the first round of the FA Cup. And Derby County tomorrow, 2:45. Don't get caught out by that. 2:45 kickoff at Gresty Road against Crewe Alexandra. Here's Sang on the right-hand side for Port Vale. Plays it to the edge of the penalty area where Garrity knocks it back, and now they're trying to work an opening on this near side. Excellent work from Tom Hamer, but Arblaster fights back. Hamer puts arms and legs everywhere, really, and eventually Mustafa Carriol could have cleared it long, decided not to, and gives it to Joe Powell. He sweeps it to the right-hand side, and Caprice, and now Josh Walker. Walker into the Port Vale half. Forward it goes to Helm, over on the far side, the right. Gets a little nudge in the back. Good defending from Jason Lowe. Helm goes to ground, doesn't complain though, and here come Port Vale again. Oh, that was an interesting challenge from Desi Oshalaja, and he's going to get booked now I think he was just caught out by the fact that the ball didn't reach its intended target. He tried to stop the challenge and ended up crashing into
it. It was a heavy
Vale
touch
man.
by Arblaster, and then but the contact what Deji makes, it's a foul, but it's not with his feet. He's off balance, and he knows he's not going to get there first, so he doesn't actually put a foot in to make the challenge. And obviously with the roar of the crowd, with the referee already sending a Port Vale player off, he was only going to book Deji then. But it's the wrong decision.
Yes, no, I completely agree.
Yes, we agree. We agreed today.
43 and a half minutes gone.
Let's see where that takes us for the rest of the game.
Bristol Rovers 4-1 up on Whitby Town now, so it doesn't look like there's going to be a shock at the Memorial Stadium. Lincoln City 1, Morecambe 1. Michael Mellon, I beg his pardon, has equalised. Port Vale, the man on the far side looked to me, Alfie Devine, to be offside, but I'm getting a head shake from my right, so he was onside. The ball is played to the edge of the area, and Ikpeazu turns, looking to try and get the shot in. Sweeney goes in with a challenge. He's got a decision to make, the referee. I didn't think that was a foul, and it's a yellow card. In fact, it's a yellow card to Joe Powell, clearly for saying something.
At least it's a yellow card to Joe Powell and not Ryan Sweeney. It was a foul. I think the way Ikpeazu's body, he almost did a somersault, didn't he? And
was it a foul?
To lift the man up like that, I think it is a foul. But it's not as serious as the crowd is making out. It's not that serious or bad of a foul.
This will be a non-contact sport soon, you know.
We've already said that's where we're going.
Unbelievable. We're into the final 60 seconds of the first. It's cold, by the way. Do you not think it's cold? My hands are freezing. Free kick. I should be able to work it out. It's about 7 yards outside the penalty area. Very, very central. There's a 6-man Burton Albion wall waiting. Max Crocombe is making sure they're in exactly the right place. He's also directing Tom Hamer, who isn't in the wall. Tom Sang plays it into the box, and then it's clipped towards the goal by Alfie Devine and collected comfortably enough in his 6-yard box by Max Crocombe, and then we will have 5 added minutes at the end of the first half. The first half that remains goalless, but Burton have the man advantage. Nathan Smith sent off after 17 minutes. Ball forward looking for Deji Oshilaja. He points to try to make sure that the back pass is cut off, which it is. It's cleared away. Hamer knocks it forward again, but Port Vale pick it up with Devine. Mark Elm's got to be careful of that. He does grab at players an awful lot, and he got booked in the first half of the game at Carlisle and was taken off at half-time. Now there's a push in the back of Ikpeazu by Hamer, but he gets back to his feet and he does well, and he feeds it forward, and Arblaster's in down the right-hand side, crosses in, but it strikes the back of Ryan Sweeney and goes out for a Port Vale throw, already taken. Sang gets the ball back from Arblaster, crosses it in, cleared away by Hamer, only as far as Ojo, 5 yards outside the penalty area. Forward it goes, Arblaster's offside. Flag goes up, and it will be a free kick to Burton Albion.
Ikpeazu causing havoc on down this right wing area. He uses his body to fend off Ryan Sweeney and Joe Powell, but really good defending again from Ryan Sweeney just to block that cross. And that's the difference between the two teams today, Fletch. When Vale attack, it's with more vigour and purpose and aggression, and when Albion do, it's laboured and it's slow. Albion need to step up in that transition to attack. It's got to be a lot quicker from Burton Albion.
Walker plays it forward to Caprice. The cross that he sends in takes a little nick. There's a chance here for Carriol on his left foot, and it's cleared off the line. The ball squirted out of the grasp of goalkeeper Connor Ripley, ended up at the left foot, and it was cleared away.
And that just said it exactly the same, Fletch. Albion sprint to life with a sprint forward from Jake Caprice, who gets to the byline fantastically, and Deji Oshilaja gets himself into the box, causes a little bit of trouble. Connor Ripley doesn't gather the ball, and it falls to an Albion man. So that's four or five players who are in attacking third. Albion needs to do a lot more of that.
Was it Carriol
who had the shot blocked?
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? With his left
I'm tired of arguing with you, so if you said Carriol, I'll let you have it.
Just tell me. Corner, right-hand side. Joe Powell will take it. Outrageous. 3 minutes of the 5 have already been added. 5 have already been played. Powell swings it into the near post, and it's headed behind by Ikpeazu for another corner.
Fantastic ball, even more so in these conditions. It's wet, the wind's blustery. That trajectory, the in-swinging left foot from Joe Powell in the right wing corner flag. Albion just need to get someone across that near post.
Another Joe Powell corner.
All it needs, Fletch, is a little glance there.
Yeah,
it doesn't need to be a really bold header. Just a little glance, just to help it in the direction of the goal.
Helms clipped it in. It's headed goalwards by Deji Oshalaja, but he was offside. And it's in the hands of Connor Ripley. And we've played 3.5 of the added 5 at the end of the first half. It has got to half-time at the Impact Arena. We will be there during the half-time interval here. It is goalless between Alfred and Worthing. Just for good measure, Aldershot have scored a 4th at Swindon in first half stoppage time in the FA Cup. That is absolute madness. Hamer nods the ball forward. Labala can't bring it under control. It's lifted towards the edge of the Port Vale penalty area by Joe Powell. Labala closing down the defender, plays it back to Ripley, who clears it long downfield. Jasper Moon has a look at it, sees it go over his head, and Crocombe does well to come out of his penalty area, although he has sliced his attempted clearance across to the far side. Walker can't keep it in play. It'll be a throw in to the home side with about 30 seconds of added time still to be played at the end of the first half, and the score remains 0-0. Back with Connor Ripley, edge of his own penalty area. You have to say that with Ripley because he could be on the edge of the opposition penalty area. Sweeney nods it forward. Labala gets a header back to Oshalaja, and Mustafa Carriol gives it back to Ryan Sweeney. Has a look around, there's nobody near him, so he gives it to Jasper Moon. Moon forward to Walker over on the far side. Josh Walker's got the chance to cut in field and then give it to Joe Powell. Referee says that'll do for the first half. And at half-time at Vale Park in the first round of the FA Cup, between two very evenly matched sides, just a couple of places between them, it is 0-0. Nathan Smith sent off after 17 minutes for a challenge on Mark Helm. Joe Powell hit the top of the crossbar with the free kick, and then in added time, Mustafa Carriol with a left-footed effort, slightly weak left-footed effort, cleared off the line. Port Vale have had the majority of the possession. Probably Burton have had the best of the chances, but at half-time it's 0-0, Dom.
Thank you very much, Dave Fletcher. Yeah, Aaron, look, both sides of it, the crossbar, clearance off the line from Port Vale there, saving Mustafa Carriol's effort. I think we decided on Mustafa Carriol during the game. Burton just edging this one so far?
I'm not sure. I'd say it's very even. I think Albion have had the better chances, but possession-wise or the vigour to trying to attack and make things happen, I think that's coming more from the Port Vale perspective. What Albion do obviously really well is get men behind the ball, but that's difficult to Vale to try and break down, but they're still trying to knock on that door even with the 10 men. But Albion need to do the same. Yes, they've had the best chances, but I'd like to see it more and more, because the big pitch, they've got the wide players of Carriol and Walker where they can actually get at the man. So I think they need to move the ball from side to side across the pitch a lot quicker and just try and take a little bit more risk in forward passes.
Is that what you've got to do when the other team's down to 10 men, shift them around as much as possible?
You have. So sometimes it may be in a deeper position. You can see it with Ryan Sweeney, Max Crocombe and Jasper Moon. They're really patient, they're composed, they're staying on the ball, so they're just trying to attack Vale to come a little bit higher to try and press them, but then it takes that one ball to spring and beat them two players. Now are we breaking the line to try and break the midfield line, and then can we create a 3v3? But if the Albion just want to play slowly around, that'll be easy for Port Vale to play against, because look at the size of the pitch. If it's just going to be passed backwards and sideways, they'll just get all the 10 men behind the ball. They'll be happy with that. So that transition to attack has got to be a lot quicker from Burton Albion's perspective.
Well, Burton Albion have plenty of options on the bench as well. Let's go to the red card for Nathan Smith. Your thoughts on that, Aaron? At the time, it looked like he was going to be in on goal, and he does wipe him out, doesn't he? He
does wipe him out. Mark Helm does really well to intercept, ride the first challenge, and it is a red card in today's game. I'm still sitting on the fence and there's no such thing as an amber card, but he is the last man. But is he just a little bit wide? People probably sound like I'm probably coming from like I'm supporting Vale. I'm not. It's just the rules of the game.
I like it, impartial. Ikpeazu, 6'3" frame. Speaking to colleagues at BBC Radio Stoke when we got here at Vale Park this afternoon, they were talking about his time it's taken to adapt to playing in a Port Vale shirt. He only signed 1 month ago today. He looks like a player that might be a bit behind on the fitness, but he is making himself known in that first half.
Definitely, the huge stature of the man, probably similar to Quadro Bar. Dino said he wasn't fit straight away to come into the team. Well, me and Fletcher were asking for him to get more minutes when he first came in. Now you can see where he was at before he got injured, that you don't just sign for teams and all of a sudden you're able to get in the team. But you can see with how he's performed in this 45 minutes, sometimes it's a little bit unorthodox and awkward, but he's a real handful, and he's had some nice little layoffs.
Well, Aaron Webster, thank you very much for your company in the first half. We'll be back with you for second half commentary very shortly. You give it the classic build-up, don't you, in the FA Cup first round? Both games on BBC Radio Derby are goalless. Let's get to our second, that's available on the BBC Sport website and app, from the Impact Arena. Alton Town 0, Worthing 0. Let's speak to Darren Robinson, part of your commentary team, standing by for us. Darren, goalless at the moment, is that justified?
Yeah, two even Stevens really, Dom. Two sides, very contrasting styles, but in chances on goal probably well matched at the moment. Worthing are a side that really likes to get the ball down, pass it and play, dominated for long spells with their possession, really quite purposeful in the way that they build up, Dom. And they had two good early chances through Aguiar with shots that just whistled slightly wide. But other than that, Alberton have held their own. They've got the slope to come at their backs into their second half, and I'm sure Billy Heath will be giving them a rally cry on that. They've also found Rocco Rees, the Worthing goalkeeper, in good form. Alberton's best chance came a minute before half time, really. A really good attacking play, wing play from Thewlis that slid the ball across to the far side, and the left back came straight in on it and made Nathan Newell striking the ball wickedly, really. They seemed destined for the goal, and a superb save from the former Brentford Academy goalkeeper that's kept the scores level. So Dom, all in all, much to play for. It's a real interesting arm wrestle, and I'm sure that we're going to see quite an exciting second half. I think both sides will go for it. They'll want to get the results sorted by the end of the game today.
What's the team talk like? Because I mentioned the build-up to this game this afternoon. You give it the big build-up. Everyone's talking about it. What could happen? What could potentially happen in the next round if they get through? And then there's that adrenaline dump, isn't there, in that first half, where they get through that initial phase of all the pressure and all the thoughts about the position they're in. And now second half, they have to come out and almost readjust and focus on the job in hand.
Well, the early 10 minutes, it was like two heavyweights just shadow boxing, feeling each other out, and it was almost, if you were watching the game not knowing the significance of the game, you'd almost argue that neither side were up for it. It's actually the opposite effect, I think, because both sets of players were so aware of how important this fixture is. It was the nerves that was getting the best of them. So we had quite long spells of midfield stalemate, and neither side really sort of like, almost like nervous to make that mistake. But I think as the half's gone on, then, like you say, we'll have had that burning of that nervous energy. And interestingly, of course, that Alberton have got good strength on their bench. They've got Will Gruel-Pollard, who's performing with the Rams, that can offer some good legs down that left-hand side. We've got the former Grimsby Town striker Ryan Taylor, who usually starts and has gone onto the bench for Jake Day to lead the line. So it'll be interesting to see how both sides approach this second period.
Certainly will, and you can hear it all unfold on the BBC Sport website and app. Darren Robinson, thank you very much. Casper Mishash will join him for match commentary very shortly. Other scores in our non-league games today: Buxton 1-0 down away at Bishop Stortford this afternoon in the National League North. Ilkeston leading at Atherton. Matlock Town comfortably leading against Radcliffe. Both of those games in the MPL Premier Division. In the Southern League Central, Long Eaton goalless at Telford this afternoon, and it's Stratford 0, Mickleover 1. The league leaders going well this afternoon in that one. They're on a tremendous run, Mickleover, unbeaten so far this season. Right, let's look ahead to tomorrow's action. Derby County begin their FA Cup journey at League 2 Crewe Alexandra. 2:45 kick-off that one is, so don't go there expecting for a 3 o'clock. Remember, 2:45. Lee Bell's Alex side are doing well so far this season, sitting 5th in the table, and Rams boss Paul Ward knows it'll be a tough game.
Lee's done really well this year. I think they've played really well in the games I've watched. They're really expansive, really brave, youthful, athletic, and they've been unbelievable on set pieces. Not many, respect to Crewe, there's a lot of things you think of Crewe. You probably don't think they'd score the most off set pieces in that league, but they have. So we'll have to defend well against them. And I know that they'll go into the game thinking it's a good opportunity to play in a team in the league above. But they'll think it's a good opportunity for the younger players to show what they can do. So they'll be fully motivated. No doubt, and playing the only way they know how to in the nicest possible sense, and they're difficult to play against. And when teams are really confident on the ball and they move it 1-2 touch, it's hard to get a grip of them at times. So we'll have to play really well. I know we'll have to play really well to beat them. We'll obviously cause them problems as well. I'm not going in there like we're underdogs. I know we should go there and cause them significant problems, but first we have to deal with what they're going to pose to us.
The classic FA Cup question as well. It does come with that sprinkle of magic on it when you head out to kick off. Just has that different feeling about it up and down the country. Yeah,
it does. It's a different build-up through the week. It's nice if it's a 3 o'clock on a Saturday, though. I just think all FA Cup games should be on there. I'm a bit of a traditionalist, but we'll be good. And then if you are successful, and you do have the joy of watching the draw, there's nothing worse than watching the draw thinking, right, who a Crewe got? Oh my God, look who they've got. But if you can win a couple, you can make memories for not only the fans here, but the players. Some of the players in our dressing room, I don't know, let's just say, this would be a disaster draw for me as a manager, but say you won a couple and you got Tottenham away, you'd think, oh, come on. And everyone's going, it'd be great, you have a great day out. Yeah, right, laugh. But if you're a Tottenham fan, for the players in there, so it is a great day out. It is an amazing experience that you might not ever get in your life. So I can't deter the lads from things like that, and you're trying to, like I remembered Liverpool last year, I really enjoyed that in fairness. So if you can just get through a couple of games, you just don't know where it will go, and I'm not stupid enough to know that it's finance for the club as well. You get a big draw, we done well last year from Cup, so it'd be good again to help the coffers this year.
That was Derby County head coach Paul Warner. Reminder that you will know the FA Cup draw before that game tomorrow. It gets underway at 2:30. We'll try and bring you that live on BBC Radio Derby. Myself, Colin Gibson, and former Rams goalkeeper Eric Steele will be in position from 2 o'clock at Gresty Road for build-up commentary, available on BBC Sounds as well, and reaction up until 6. In the draw, if Port Vale get through or Burton Albion get through today, they will be ball number 18, Derby will be ball number 14, or Crewe, and Overton Town or Worthing will be ball number 2. Overton Town against Worthing back underway on the BBC Sport website and app, so just to head to the BBC Sport homepage, click on the football icon, then onto the FA Cup icon, live commentaries, and you can scroll across to the right and you can see BBC Radio Derby's coverage available for full match commentary. Casper Mishash and Darren Robinson, your team on there. Right, let's bring you up to date with the half-time scores elsewhere. I'm wary of going through all the first round FA Cup scores because it could take us through to full time, but I'll bring in the Premier League to start. Fulham 0, Manchester United 1, Brentford 1, West Ham 2, Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 1, Everton winning again, this time against Brighton at Goodison, Manchester City 3-0 up against Bournemouth, much to my frustration, no goals from Erling Haaland, and Phil Foden started on the bench. So my FPL is in tatters at the halfway point. How's yours doing? Sheffield United goalless with Wolves at the break at Bramall Lane. Let's head into the FA Cup, where the lunchtime kickoff was Northampton 1, Barrow 3. That's a full-time score. At half-time in the other games, it's Wimbledon 2, Cheltenham 0, Bolton 1, Solihull Moors 0, Bradford City 0, Wycombe 2, Bristol Rovers 4, Whitby 1, Cambridge United 1, Bracknell Town 0, Chesham United 0, Maidstone 1, Chester goalless with York City. Curzon Ashton are trailing to Barnet. Doncaster 1-up against Accrington Stanley. Eastleigh, the Hampshire side, 3-1 up against Boreham Wood. It's goalless at St James's Park at Exeter. They're goalless with Wigan Athletic. Hereford 1-0 down at half-time at home against Gillingham. You can't help but just think of that Ronnie Radford goal back in 1972 against Newcastle when their name comes up. Leyton Orient 1, Carlisle United 0, Lincoln City 1 apiece with Morecambe. Marine, the side that got to the third round 2 years ago and played that game against Tottenham at home, they're trailing to Harrogate Town by 2-1. Newport 1-0 up against Oldham Athletic, 1 apiece at Meadow Lane. Notts County 1, Crawley 1. Oxford United 1-0 up at the halfway point against Maidenhead United. Peterborough, the League One side, trailing to League Two Salford City. Ramsgate are 1 apiece with Woking. Reading, the League One side, 1 apiece with MK Dons, the League Two side. Shrewsbury Town 1, Colchester United 1, Scarborough Athletic 1, Forest Green Rovers 0, Stevenage 1 apiece with Tranmere. Stockport County 2, Worksop 1. Stockport County looking for their 12th win in a row under Dave Challoner. Sutton United are 1-0 down at home to AFC Fylde. Swindon Town 4-0 down at the break to Aldershot. What on earth has gone on there? And Yeovil Town 2-0 up against Gateshead. The evening kickoffs, Bromley against Blackpool and Mansfield against Wrexham. So that is a full roundup of the scores this afternoon in the FA Cup first round, and we'll be back for second half commentary here at Vale Park next.
Today's lunch menu: seared scallops with caramelised shallot and thyme roasted carrots.
Nah, none of that. Bacon butty? Brown sauce? No, we'll go red today.
Lunch with Ian Sky.
I know I'm probably biased, but Derbyshire and East Staffordshire people, they're the best.
I grab a lot of stuff to make wine with.
My tutor said, you're actually really good. Why don't you think about going to university?
It will always be home to me.
Doctors and plumbers, brewers, artists, nurses, bakers, engineers. Everybody's got a story to tell.
Weekday afternoons from 12. Listen anytime on BBC Sounds.
BBC Radio Derby. BBC Radio Derby.
Sports scene.
Well, we've got our commentary team back, minus Aaron Webster. He's tucking into his half-time pie. Dave Fletcher to his left-hand side is back with me. The players aren't back out just yet. Fletch, we always give it the build-up, don't we? And it's just never quite inside.
I mean, I've just been talking to Colston from the Burton Man. He said, I thought there was quite a lot of incident in that first half. Well, I must have been looking at the scores at that moment when there was all the incident. There were chances, weren't there? There were chances, but it's disappointing for me that Port Vale had 67% possession throughout the course of the first 45 minutes and played with 10 men from the 17th minute. As Aaron said during commentary, Burton have got to do better when they get the ball. They've got to be quicker in transition. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see a couple of changes 10 minutes in if it remains goalless.
Well, the Port Vale side are out to the tune of Triple H's entrance in WWE. You a fan of this one, Fletch?
It's Motorhead, of course.
It's an easy win.
What's not to like?
Burton Albion out on the left-hand side as well. A reminder, if you're listening to us on FM digital radio or 1116 AM and you're heading out today or whatever you're up to, you can listen to the second half commentary on BBC Sounds. A couple of goals going in the non-league games this afternoon. Buxton now 2-0 down in the National League North against Bishop Stortford, and Ilkeston 1 apiece with Atherton. So Ilkeston led going into the break, and Atherton have equalised through Thompson on 49. Right, let's hand over to your incredible Brewers duo of Brewers legend Aaron Webster and the man Dave Fletcher.
Yes, the game, incidentally, that's called. It's not just Triple H's walk-on music.
Let's be honest, it is.
I only know it as Triple H's theme song.
Yeah, but, you know. Anyway, we're about to get back underway. No changes at half-time to either side. Port Vale down to 10 men. No Nathan Smith, sent off after 17 minutes. I'll run you through the two sides as we get underway at the start of the second half. Conor Ripley in goal for Port Vale. Lewis Cass, Tom Sang, Jason Lowe and James Plant. Effectively a back four now. Arblaster, Ojo and Devine in midfield with Garrity in support of Ikpeazu as our referee Simon Mather gets us back underway. And Burton Albion launch the ball towards this near right-hand side. They're kicking from left to right in the second half as we look from the main stand here at the Wembley of the North. And Port Vale trying to get going down the left-hand side, but fail singularly. The Burton Albion back four, even though it turns into a six, with Walker and Carriol now playing in the wide roles. Jake Labala. Berrily Labala is up front. As the lone striker, Oshalaja and Helm just behind him. Joe Powell in that quarterback role, and it's Caprice, Sweeney, Moon and Hamer nominally the back four. Hamer playing on the left-hand side this afternoon and Caprice on the right. The ball is with Ryan Sweeney on the edge of his own penalty area. What do you want to see in this second half, Aaron? I want to see,
if things don't change, I want to see Cole Stockton come on a little bit earlier than normal, because it's not like Albion are going for the throat of Port Vale in a press or playing in that type of way, which Burton Albion have done in the past. So can they get him extra minutes and help him build his match fitness up, because he could be a game changer.
He could do with half an hour, couldn't he?
Yeah.
He could do with half an hour. Ball is with Tom Hamer over on the far side. Cambridge have scored a second against Bracknell in the early stages of the second half in their FA Cup tie at the Abbey Stadium. They lead 2-0. Here it remains 0-0, as it is at the Impact Arena between Alfreton and Worthing. Good ball forward by Jasper Moon. Picks out Josh Walker on the right-hand side, right down below us. He's got Caprice in support. Thought about crossing first time. Instead gives it back to Mark Helm. And Helm will turn back and give it to Jasper Moon once again, just inside his own half. Short ball forward to Joe Powell. You can hear the Burton fans. You can hear the Vale fans. The Port Vale fans were very exercised during that first half. Labala just runs offside, so the ball forward isn't on for Mustafa Carriol over on the far side of the left. Now he's offside, so the ball goes back to Ryan Sweeney. Forward to Hamer, now with Joe Powell. Powell, little touch back to Hamer. Forward to Oshalaja on the halfway line. Nice touch to Carriol. Carriol carries it forward, tries to play the ball forward to Labala, but it doesn't get through. But Burton get it back because Port Vale are slightly profligate with possession on that occasion. Lincoln 1, Morecambe 2 now. Tom Bloxham has put Morecambe ahead at Sincil Bank. Here's Mark Helm. Ojo, arms all over him, pulling his shirt. Referee says play on, which he has done for shirt tugging all through the game. And now it's with Mustafa Carriol wide on the left-hand side. Into the penalty area, onto his right foot, might go for goal, does go for goal, took a little deflection and eventually rebounds off another defender and is put into touch on the near side for a Burton Albion throw.
Yeah, and that's what I mentioned in the first half and at half-time, Fletch. Albion need to move the ball quicker. So in this instance, it was a good ball into midfield from Jake Caprice, and then Josh Walker plays from basically left to right. And then it opens up space because it's a wide pitch, they've got to move it left to right a lot quicker to then isolate Port Vale defenders in one-on-one situations, or can Albion work even harder to create overloads with 2v1s and 3v2s? But that's why Mustafa Carriol gets to cut inside his couple of men then, because they move the ball across the pitch a lot quicker than they did in the first period.
Tom Hamer went on a galloping run down the left-hand side and was completely ignored. The ball back with Ryan Sweeney, who plays it square to Jasper Moon. Aldershot have got a fifth at Swindon. No idea. Harrogate are 3-1 up at Marine. Morecambe I told you about, and it's Leyton Orient 1, Carlisle United 1 now, and Bolton Wanderers lead Solihull Moors by 2-0 in the FA Cup. 0-0 here it remains. Josh Walker on halfway. Short pass from Caprice, who's running forward down the right-hand side onto a Mark Helm ball. He loops the ball into centre field. Absolutely nothing that Labala could do with it. Helm picks it up though, and he's fouled. Free kick to Burton Albion. Ojo with a little foot in there. It wasn't much of a touch, but it was enough to send him to the ground.
Yeah, it was a foul. It was just late. Really good anticipation in winning the second ball from Mark Helm. He did that really well in the first half, which resulted in Nathan Smith being sent off. And it looks like it's in similar area, just at the different end of the pitch, and this is where Joe Powell hit the top of the crossbar from, so I'm sure he'll be looking to hit the target this time.
Three-man Port Vale wall being directed by Connor Ripley. Carriol also standing over the ball. Good luck getting it away from Joe Powell. Powell steadies himself. Referee blows the whistle. 5 minutes gone in the second half. Powell whips it in towards the near post, almost goes through Ripley's hands. He gets enough on it to push it over the bar, but I'll tell you what, he struggled there.
Dom's playing devil's advocate here. He said it's because of the ball, the new ball, that's why he's not caught it. Connor Ripley does go to catch the ball, but it squirms through his hands, and luckily for himself, over the top of the Vale crossbar.
Too light to catch. Powell with the corner from the right-hand side. Goes towards the back post. Hamer tries to get a hand on it but can't. Helm nods it back into the penalty area. Unfortunately, it landed at Des Yoshilage's feet and he had his back to goal. And Ikpeazu races, as only Ikpeazu can, towards halfway, loses the ball and thumps the ground in frustration. And Burton Albion have it back, at the back. Warrington Town are leading at Gloucester City. Is that in the FA Cup? Probably isn't. I always like the look at Warrington Town squads. It's such a non-footballing town, but their football team is doing pretty well these days. They might be in National North. Here is Tom Hamer on the left-hand side. Dom's just
you need to do your research.
Double checking for it. It is a National North game. Again, Labala steady. Labala goes offside.
He's been nibbling today. I don't know what's happened. He's been nibbling.
Here's a scoreline. Swindon 0, Aldershot 6 in the FA Cup. 6-0 away at Swindon. Carriol, left-hand side, 15 yards inside the Port Vale half. Short pass to Labala, who's dropped a little deeper this time to make sure he doesn't run offside. And now he gives it back to Carriol. Cuts in field on his right foot, then checks, gives it to Oshilaja. He doesn't really want it on his left. Back to Carroll. It's all a bit too tight, and there are a lot of defenders back now. Infield it goes to Jake Caprice. He might have a shot, but declines and gives it to Walker wide on the right-hand side. Walker goes forward. He will have a shot with his left foot. Should have passed it. It's gone back behind for a goal kick.
I think that switch of play was needed 10 passes before it actually came out, Fletcher. Again, it enabled Port Vale to get back in the numbers, be tough not to kind of crack. They've got to keep moving.
That was
just play left to right.
So slowly.
You might have to switch it 2 or 3 times, but then with you shifting and moving the Port Vale team in their shape, a gap may open up just for a forward pass to break a line then.
Big goal gone in at Broadhall Way. Rob Apter has scored, and Tranmere leads Stevenage by 2-1, having been a goal down early on. Ball back with Connor Ripley inside his penalty area. Goes long, straight onto the straight onto the thigh of Jasper Moon, who does well in the end. It actually ricocheted behind him. Ikpeazu almost nipped in. Moon recovered, and now Crocombe clears it long downfield. Headed up in the air by James Plant. Walker does well, and it's taken forward by Caprice to Helm, and now Powell driving forward. He's urged to shoot. Gives it to the left-hand side, and Carriol socks halfway up his shins into the penalty area on his right foot. Pulls it back to Hamer. Hamer goes in field. Offside flag stays down. Chance here. Shot comes in from Oshilaja. Takes a deflection and saved by the legs of Connor Ripley. Powell gives it back to Oshilaja. Then he gets the cross in. Walker's arriving late at the far post. Might fall for Helm here. Helm can't get his shot away. Neither can Labala. And it's cleared out to the penalty area. Burton have got to be careful they're not caught on the break here. And Hamer's read that one really nicely. Raced into the centre circle to regain possession for the Brewers. But they're slowly building up a head of steam here, Burton Albion. Wide to the left-hand side. And Mustafa Carriol goes past his man. Crosses it in low. Des Yoshilaja sticks out a right foot. Makes no connection. Port Vale can clear it away again, but it's won back as it hits the heels of Ojo. Helm gives it to Caprice. Caprice with an absolute shocker of a pass straight into touch on the near side. Walker no chance. Throw in Port Vale.
Albion are warming up, Fletch. This is what the game needs to look like for the next 40 minutes. Backs against the walls for Port Vale. Albion taking more risks. Now you can see with that sequence of blocks what Port Vale had to do, or Albion passing wide. They were brave enough to leave just Jasper Moon and Ryan Sweeney to deal with Igpiezu and everyone else's. So the fullbacks the shackles have been taken off them now, adding into players like Deji Oshalaja, Mark Helm being able to get in the box as well, rather than them just being on the periphery of it, on the edge of the box.
Igpiezu's race is run, and Ryan Loft has replaced him up front for Port Vale, who are in possession at the back. Lewis Cass plays it back to Connor Ripley, and the ball goes long. Buxton are now 3-0 down at Bishop Stortford in the National North. After their good win against Tamworth in midweek, that'll be disappointing for the Bucks. Ripley clips it forward straight onto the head of Ryan Sweeney, nods it down inside the centre circle, but it's been picked up here by Alfie Devine. Devine pokes it forward. Jasper Moon has to be careful here, gets back to the edge of his own penalty area. He has the ball at his feet, plays it against Devine and behind for a goal kick.
Devine does really well to just win the ball in the central area, and he drives forward, but Joe Powell just gets a timely interception just from behind, just a toe poke into the path of Jasper Moon.
Stevenage have equalised from the penalty spot. Jamie Reid, 2 apiece, Broadhall way. Dear oh dear. Shrewsbury Town lead Colchester by 2-1 in the FA Cup. I hate Saturdays. Never liked them. Burton in possession at the back, over on the far side, their left. Sweeney gives it back to Crocombe on the edge of his own 6-yard box. He finds Jasper Moon still inside the penalty area, and then Moon goes long looking for Walker. Goes over his head, picked up by Jason Lowe. Lowe clears it, goes to ground. Home fans in once again infuriated, and here come Port Vale with James Plant. Scuffs a little ball infield to Ojo. Ojo finds Lowe on the halfway line. Square ball to Cass, and Cass goes back to Connor Ripley. Ripley plays the ball forward under a bit of pressure at the back there, but Port Vale still hold on to it. Ojo inside the centre circle gives it to Lowe. Lowe to the near side and Plant. Now back to Lowe again in his orange boots. Very similar to Lewis Cass's, who moves forward over the halfway line on the right-hand side of the centre circle. Just drops off a little pass to Sang over on the far side. Garrity tries to get a foot in. Does. Port Vale still in possession on halfway. Plant goes back into his own half. This is perfect for Port Vale. Down to 10 men, remember. They'd probably quite happily take a replay in 10 days' time at the Pirelli Stadium as they look to attack down the right-hand side. Sang goes on a little run after playing a short pass to his right, but it's now back with Ojo inside the centre circle. They're just moving Burton Albion about, but not making much progress forward. Cass to Sang. Sang with a little ball forward to Arblaster. Arblaster goes to the byline, tries to cross it in, comes off Hamer, and then behind for a corner. Hamer's furious. I wasn't sure if it had rebounded back off the Port Vale man after it had hit Hamer. It certainly hit Hamer.
Great play from Port Vale. Just patient, moving the ball, lending it to each other, recycling it, and then springing into an attack quick from Arblaster. Tom Hamer's right though. He initially blocks the cross, and it comes back off Arblaster, but the referee and linesman, you could see for a short moment they weren't sure.
No idea. Corner from the right-hand side, then whipped in. There are players all over the floor inside the penalty area, and Joe Powell puts it behind for another corner. Aldershot obviously have got a 7th at Swindon, which is going to be the top of the highlights on the television later on, I wonder. I think we've got a fair idea. Wigan have taken the lead at Exeter City. Port Vale over on the right-hand side, crosses blocked by Mustafa Carriel from the short corner. It's another corner on the right. Wimbledon lead Cheltenham by 3-0 now. Sutton 1, Fylde 1 is an FA Cup score as well. In fact, Wimbledon have just scored a 4th against Cheltenham. Corner on its way in, headed away by Jasper Moon. Over on the far side, Carriol can clear it, but can't clear it very far. Only as far as Arblaster. Arblaster urged to get that ball into the penalty area. The big men were still up from the back. The ball is eventually played forward by Alfie Devine, and it goes out for a goal kick. Disappointing ball forward, I think it's fair to say.
In the end, there was a disappointing pass and run.
Here he comes. Here he comes.
Within saying that, Fletch, with Albion being passive when Vale last had possession, they've won a corner, and the ball's been in Burton Albion's defensive third for the last 2 minutes. They've won back-to-back-to-back corners, adding to the pressure Albion probably shouldn't be on, because they've got to go and hunt them and press them a little bit more higher up the pitch, because they have got an extra player on the pitch.
Burton Albion have got a new player on the pitch. It's Cole Stockton has replaced Berrily Labala. So Stockton has a good half hour plus stoppage time to make an impression. Hasn't started a game for Burton since the game at Blackpool on the opening day of the season. Ball played forward. Chance here for Burton Albion. Into the penalty area goes Desi Oshilaja. A good challenge comes in to dispossess him, but it is a Burton corner.
What a fantastic tackle by Cass. Recovery run. It's a lovely ball played in between defenders. You probably just want it to be Mustafa Carriol on the end of that rather than Deji Oshilaja, who would probably roll it into Cole Stockton's area to tap in.
Corner is on its way in. It's headed away by Ryan Loft, only as far as Jake Caprice. Oh, Caprice turns and sends it back to Jasper Moon on the halfway line. The away fans slightly frustrated at that. Now Caprice has it wide on the right from a Tom Helm pass. Walker stays onside, level with the edge of the penalty area, tight with the touchline down below us on the Burton Albion right. Helm gives it to Joe Powell. Powell with a left-footed ball wide to the far side, brought under control by Mustafa Carriol. Stockton lurking inside the penalty area. Carriol goes to the byline and pulls it back. It's cleared, but only as far as Joe Powell. Doesn't control it first time, so can't get the shot away. Hamer has it. Hamer clips it into the penalty area. Over Sweeney's head, hits Walker, hits the defender, corner. Wow, that was interesting. Manchester City have got a 4th, incidentally. Phil Foden this time, everybody. That's pleased Dominic for some reason. Southport lead at Rush Hall Olympic in the FA Cup. Sutton 2, Fylde 1 now.
Again, a good cross comes into the box, Fletch, because of the switch of play. Joe Powell to Mustafa Carriol, who again, step over, drop of the shoulder, get into the byline. Now Albion have more men in the box.
Corner from the right-hand side will be taken by Joe Powell on its way into the near post, headed away. Mark Helm will look to pick it up. Decides against the ball forward, gives it to Jasper Moon. Moon 5 yards, bit less inside the Port Vale half, gives it to Jake Caprice. Caprice looks up, gives it back to Moon again, then comes across to the right-hand side where he should be. And Carriol lifts it forward, but it's onto the shoulder of Lowe, who puts it out for a Burton Albion throw. Caprice takes it, gets it to Helm. Helm finds Carriol. Carriol, little step over on his left foot, goes for goal with his left foot. Good save, strong hand from Connor Ripley down to his left. That was well struck by Mustafa Carriol, but Ripley was equal to it. And it remains 0-0 here. Let's find out what's happening at the Impact Arena. It was 0-0 at half-time between Alfreton and Worthing, with the latest. Here's Kasper Misiash.
Yes, Dave, it's still goalless here at the Impact Arena. Alfreton have started brighter in the second half, but still no clear-cut chances, as now we've got Waldock on the ball just outside the area, but he's being intercepted and dispossessed. But yes, it's been a brighter half, Alfreton, but no clear chances. Still goalless here.
Thank you, Casper. Online via the BBC Sport website and app. Josh Walker's going into the referee's notebook now. He just, from behind, tried to tackle James Plant. Plant went tumbling. It's a free kick. It was an obvious foul. It's another Burton Albion player into the referee's notebook.
Yeah, probably the most obvious booking of the day. No real malice or intent, but when you get the other side of your mouth, which Alfie Devine does really well, he receives on the back foot and then drives across Josh Walker, and then all forwards, I'm sure they'd prefer give a free kick away then rather than chase back 30 or 40 yards.
Plant crosses the ball into the penalty area. It's cleared as far as Stockton, who flicks it on, but he's the furthest man forward. So Port Vale regain possession. Ojo gives it back to Lowe inside his own half. Lowe just waits and then gives it back to Ojo, who gives it back to Lowe inside his own half. Still, run is made by Loft, ignored, and Lowe plays a square ball towards Lewis Cass on the right hand side. Cass into the Burton half, but turns and feeds it infield to Ben Garrity. Garrity, short ball to Lowe, and now wide to the left hand side, and Ojo, he's got Devine ahead of him and picks him out. Devine gives it back to Lowe again. Burton not really pressing as Stockton slides in and tries to regain possession but can't, and here come Port Vale with Devine. Devine plays a little ball infield to Ojo, then back to Devine again, moving in on the edge of the penalty area, into the penalty area now, shoots near post, wide of the target. Crocombe's not happy with his defenders there. The ball was wide, he didn't get a touch. It's a goal kick, but they have to be able to cut that sort of shot.
It shouldn't happen, Fletch, especially with you having 11 against the 10. The centre of the pitch has got to be the spine where it's got your players in, where it's the strength of it. If Vale to get any success in today's game, it's got to come from a set piece or from wide play. For Albion to open up like the Red Sea then is not good enough.
Ball is played forward, comes off Josh Walker and goes in to touch on the near side for a Port Vale throw. Bolton Wanderers have scored a third against Solihull Moors. Wimbledon a 5 up on Cheltenham. Plenty of goals going in elsewhere around the FA Cup. Doncaster 1, Accrington Stanley 1 as well in the FA Cup, and Reading now lead MK Dons by 3-1, and Stockport have got a third at home to Worksop. In the National League North, Buxton, Owen McKeown has scored for them, and they trail Bishop Stortford by 3-1, and there now has been a goal at the Impact Arena. Alfreton against Worthing. Kasper Misiash.
It's back underway. Yes, Dave, we've seen the opener here at the Impact Arena, and it is in Alfreton's favour. There was a long throw on the far side into the box. The ball just bounces outside. Newell has a shot from 25 yards out, absolutely puts it into the top left corner. It was very much Joe Powell-esque. He's just put his laces right through it and send his Alfreton fans into frenzy. Can Alfreton hold on and make it into the second round proper of the FA Cup? It's Alfreton Town 1, Worthing 0.
Excellent news from the Impact Arena. You can hear that game on the BBC Sport website and app with Kasper Misiash and Darren Robinson. We've just seen the real Joe Powell have a go from halfway. He had Ripley scrambling as well, Aaron. Who are you?
Fletch, you've not done that, have
you? Sorry. You summarise us all but the same.
No, I'm joking, Fletch. But Joe Powell has got the capability to score from 40 or 50 yards, and to me, I would always say intelligent footballers would always have their eye on where the goalkeeper is in general play. Connor Ripley obviously is a goalkeeper. He's very aggressive, likes to get on the ball. His starting position is very high.
Here's Stockton, spots the goalkeeper off his line after bringing the ball under control nicely. He's into the area and shoots into the side netting. Wants a corner. I don't think he's going to get one. But that was the first time we've really seen Cole Stockton involved today since coming on as a substitute. We're going to see another change now as well for Burton Albion, and Mark Helm is departing to be replaced by Mason Bennett, but he was a little bit isolated there, Cole Stockton. Couldn't do anything but take the shot on.
He was isolated. His first touch is wonderful, and the outside of his right foot, just to take it into his path, and then his one-on-one with his defender Lowe. Lowe does really well to stand up. I just think when he pulls the trigger, Fletch, he's actually sat low down. So if he was a little bit more patient and just to give one more shimmy, and obviously the angle he shoots from in the end is very tight, is very acute, but nice introduction from Cole Stockton there.
We all love an acute angle. Ball is headed forward down the foot. We do. I don't know why. It's with Carriol on the left-hand side. I'm talking absolute nonsense. Sweeney clears it up towards Desi Oshalaja, but the ball had gone out for a throw-in to Port Vale. Notts County 2, Crawley 2. David McGoldrick had put Notts County in front. Stratford 3, Mickleover 1 is the latest score. Mickleover unbeaten this season in the SPL Premier Central. snappily titled SPL Premier Central. 3-1 down at Stratford. Long ball forward from Ripley, almost brought under control by Ben Garrity on the edge of the Burton Albion penalty area. Tom Hamer does well, and then he gives it to Carriol, and Carriol switches play to the right hand side, and Josh Walker, little mazy run from Walker but not going very far. Eventually feeds it to Caprice on the near side. Bennett makes a run, but Caprice goes back into his own half. Moon gives it to Sweeney. Harrogate Town have got a fourth at Marine as well. Rod McDonald putting the Football League side ahead against the Mariners. Here's Dejiosha Larger on the far side, doesn't win a throw-in. And it remains 0-0. It's not very 0-0. I've seen more 0-0 games than this, but Burton have had the two best chances of the second half. They must have a Carriol shot that was brilliantly saved by Connor Ripley. Joe Powell from the halfway was a half chance, and I suppose really it was a half chance as well for Cole Stockton, as another change is made, this time by Port Vale, and James Plant is being replaced. He's one of the players who dropped into a back four ultimately. He's been replaced by Gavin Massey, I think it is, who's coming on just down to our left-hand side. Interesting, because the longer this remains 0-0, the more Port Vale, it is Gavin Massey, the more Port Vale will think they've got half a chance of nicking a goal and winning a game that they've got absolutely no right to win.
Definitely, Fletch. You could see it when they won them consecutive corners. Putting that ball into Albion's box, it's asking them a question. It's in front of the home fans there, and even now in the last couple of minutes they've gone from back to front a couple more times with Loft up there, which they haven't necessarily done in the game. Well, since the first half with Ikpeazu.
Plenty of goals going in the FA Cup elsewhere. Wimbledon have got a fifth. Wimbledon have been pegged back actually by a goal. They're 5-1 up now on Cheltenham Town. Manchester City in the Premier League have been pegged back as well to a degree. They now lead 4-1 against Bournemouth. Bristol Rovers 5, Whitby Town 2 now. Stockport have got a fourth against Worksop. They lead 4-1, and Accrington have equalised at Doncaster Rovers, which is where Burton are on Tuesday night in the EFL Trophy, and we're all really looking forward to it. 18 minutes to go here. 7 o'clock start, don't be late. Not you, the listener. Crocombe on the edge of his own penalty area, weighing up his options, and plays it short to Ryan Sweeney. Sweeney plays it forward to Carriol. Carriol plays it back to Sweeney, and now it's back with Max Crocombe again. Crocombe plays it out to the left-hand side, and Tom Hamer back to Sweeney. They can't be doing this too much. I mean, I can sort of understand what they're doing, as the ball to the edge of the penalty area from Max Crocombe was a bit short for Joe Powell, who did brilliantly to get something on it. Now it's back with Crocombe again, and Crocombe clears it, but again it's unconvincing. But this time it works well for the Brewers, because it lands at the feet of Dejiosha Larger. He clips it forward looking for Josh Walker. Walker going on a little run, but that's good defensive work initially from Sang. But Walker gets the ball back into the penalty area, goes towards the byline. He's put too much on it, needed to cross it into a 3 on the edge of the 6-yard box, waiting for the ball. Carriol, Bennett and Cole Stockton, and the ball's behind for a goal kick.
That ball's got to go into the box from Josh Walker there. He does really well to, in the mix-up and the melee with Sang, to come out on top, then drive to the byline. He's got to get his head up. Like you say, Cole Stockton's trying to get in the 6-yard box. Mason Bennett wants to cut back, just taking that extra touch, just let another Port Vale defender come across and just snuff him out.
Bristol Rovers 6, Whitby Town 2 now in the FA Cup. Ball is cleared by Ripley towards Loft. Loft wins his side a throw-in close to the halfway line. Dino Marmaria standing with his arms folded. I think the last thing he'll want is a replay as well. Given that his team has played the vast majority of this match with a man advantage, he will be, I'm sure, disappointed that they haven't managed to get a goal. Cole Stockton's won the ball back for the Brewers, and Osher Larger plays it to Moon. Moon to his left finds Sweeney. Sweeney comes forward to the halfway line, gives it to Carriol, continues his run, Ryan Sweeney, like a roving left winger, and now he's trying to close down the defender. He's massively out of position. Joe Powell has dropped back into centre-back for the time being, and he's the man who brings the ball under control when it's cleared away initially, but they get it back, do Port Vale. Here's Ojo. Ojo gives it infield to Devine. Devine to Sang on the near side. He's challenged by Josh Walker. Referee says play on. It was a fair challenge. Ball goes into the penalty area, headed away by Jasper Moon. Joe Powell would pick it up. Starting to get a bit stretched now, this game, as the ball is clipped across to this near side over ahead of Mason Bennett. Bounces once and goes into touch on the near side for a Port Vale throw.
Vale is still going for it, Fletch, and even with 10 men, they're still trying to advance up the pitch with ball speed, breaking lines, trying to get the ball into the box for low. And you can see the little bit of panic in the Albion defence, because Sweeney and Jasper Moon nearly collide in winning in the second ball. Port Vale are still in this game.
Ball is played forward by Joe Powell. Mason Bennett will try to get on the end of this one, just outside the penalty on the right-hand side. That's good work by Lode to turn and play it back into his penalty area, where it's cleared away by Ripley, headed forward by Jake Caprice. Almost brought under control by Cole Stockton, but the clearance falls at the feet of Joe Powell. Good feet from him, and finds Walker on this near side, the Burton Albion right. Infield it goes to Hamer in a more advanced position. Now Sweeney picks it up inside the centre circle. Stevenage are now 3-2 up on Tranmere in the FA Cup. Newport County lead Oldham by 2-0. Here's Jasper Moon. The comeback's on at the county ground. Swindon 1, Aldershot 7. Doncaster have just taken the lead against Accrington Stanley by 2-1. You're not missing any action, because Burton have got the ball, but it's inside their own half and they're not going anywhere particularly quickly. Here's Joe Powell. Gives it to Sweeney, left-hand side. And a short pass picks out Tom Hamer. Hamer lifts it over the top. Stockton will be flagged offside. No, the linesman on the near side says he's onside. Turns nicely, shoots, hits the post, Cole Stockton, and it goes behind, right the way across the face of goal and behind for a goal kick. Stockton's hit the post. The home fans are furious. I thought he was offside. The linesman deliberately kept his flag down, and it remains 0-0.
Maybe, Fletch, if we had the lines and VAR, a different decision is given there. But it's great to see, it's from a Burton Albion perspective. Cole Stockton making runs in behind, isolating a defender 1v1. It's in the left-hand channel, but he does really well to check back on his right foot. And he goes for goal 12 or 13 yards out from an angle. He tries to just put it in that near post. Sadly for Albion, it hits the inside of the post and rolls agonisingly across the goal for a goal kick. Great centre forward play though.
Of course, the man who's got the goal for Stevenage, Kane Hemmings, whose last club was Tranmere. Burton made a change. Josh Gordon has replaced Mustafa Carriol, I believe. Now that we've seen players getting booked for less than tying their shoelaces on the edge of the penalty area, which is what Ojo was doing there to delay matters a little bit, as the clearance is eventually hit downfield by Ripley, headed forward by Sweeney. Not Sang on this occasion, it was Lowe who plays it back into his penalty area, and it's cleared downfield again by Ripley. Little flick on there by Garrity, all the way through to Max Crocombe. So refreshing the forward line. Josh Gordon playing wide on the right hand side. Josh Walker's gone to the left, and a good crossfield ball from Cole Stockton picks out Gordon on this near side, brings it under control, plays it back to Jake Caprice, then Caprice plays it forward. Chance here is the for Deji Oshalaja. No, because off his line quickly is Connor Ripley. And I said the comeback was on at the county ground. It's now Swindon 2, Aldershot 7. They might have left it a bit late. Seamus Keneally has equalised for Accrington at Doncaster, and Oxford lead Maidenhead by 2-0. You're up to date in the FA Cup, as far as I can tell. There are so many games, I think 40 ties over the course of this weekend. As the ball is played over to the far side by Ripley, kept in play, and forward it goes down that far side. Hamer just lets it drift into touch, and to throw in to Port Vale on the far side, which will be taken at some point. Well, it won't be. Come on, referee, just sort it out. Let's get this game going again. It's dying a death at the moment. Ball is eventually thrown and then looped back in the air to goalkeeper Connor Ripley, who shins it high into the darkening sky. Mason Bennett can't get his head on the ball. It's picked up by Port Vale, and here they come again down the left-hand side with Sang. Sang cuts in field, ball forward 10 yards outside the penalty area, Port Vale here, and that they eventually go back towards the halfway line. There has been another goal at Alfred, and we will be there very shortly indeed. But Port Vale in possession, almost give it away, but they just about hold on to it. Lewis Cass on the right-hand side will play it forward and short to the right, and Arblaster cuts in field, forward it goes to Loft. Loft turns and feeds it forward. Hamer's there, and Hamer will clear up and give it to Oshalaja. Then Hamer takes the return pass, runs forward towards the halfway line, and then calms things down by going to Ryan Sweeney. Let's quickly go to the Impact Arena. Kasper Misiash.
Yes, Dave, it's surely game over now. Alfreton have a 2-goal lead here with just under 3 minutes left. It was a great corner from the right, whipped in, and on the 5 yards away from goal, Diggy, the centre-back, rose for Alfreton, headed it right down the middle over the goalkeeper, and they've been out celebrating ever since. It's Alfreton Town 2, Worthing 0.
Thank you, Kasper. You can get the closing stages of that match on the BBC Sport website and app with Kasper Misiash and Darren Robinson. Manchester City have got a 5th against Bournemouth. They lead 5-1. Stockport have got a 5th against Worksop and lead by 5-1 in the FA Cup. Bristol Rovers 7, Whitby Town 2. Forward from Jasper Moon, straight onto the head of Jason Lowe. Here's Ojo taking a short pass from Divine. Ojo moves towards the halfway line, feeds it to his right. Cass plays a short ball forward to Arblaster. Arblaster on the turn. Good ball. Picks out Gavin Massey. Massey crosses the ball into the penalty area. It's cleared away by Jasper Moon. Joe Powell gets there, and then a nice little turn by Deji Oshilaja. Buys himself a bit of space. He moves forward and gives it to Stockton. Stockton looks up and plays the crossfield ball a long way behind Josh Gordon, but he'll keep the ball in play 5 yards inside Port Vale territory. Back to Jake Caprice. We've still got 8 minutes of normal time remaining. Caprice plays the ball forward to Josh Gordon. It's ahead of him, and it's into touch for a throw-in. Are we going to get a goal?
It doesn't look like it, Fletch. And if you'd have asked Port Vale after 17 minutes of going down to 10 minutes, if the picture of the game would look how it is right now, they're better in possession. They're able to slow the game down at times, and the referee is not speeding them up. They would have taken your hand off.
Jasper Moon does well, turns it back to Max Crocombe, who's a little bit strong, but Crocombe keeps the ball in play on his right foot. Plays it out to Jake Caprice on the right-hand side. 3-2 the Brewers won here earlier this season. Ball over the top, Josh Gordon's onside, but the ball drifts into touch. Jasper Moon with the Jake Caprice with the ball forward. It was Mason Bennett who might have been offside, as another change comes here for Port Vale, and Ollie Arblaster is going to be replaced by Ethan Chislett.
Arblaster's put a shift in today, Fletch.
Hasn't he just?
Covered a lot of ground, forward runs, tracking back as well. He deserves this round of applause from the home fans.
Number 10, Ethan Chislett.
Chislett makes his way onto the pitch. England are out of the World Cup. They've been beaten by 33 runs by Australia. I think we all knew they were out of the World Cup prior to that, but it has finally been confirmed by defeat to Australia. Joe Powell gives it to Oshalaja. His ball forward is not a good one. Holds his head in his hands. They're playing effectively with two up top now, with Mason Bennett in support of Cole Stockton. 6 minutes of normal time remaining in this cup tie. 10-man Port Vale holding on. Burton have hit the woodwork twice. Once in the first half through Joe Powell from a free kick, once in the second half To substitute Cole Stockton with a shot on the turn. They have also had an effort from Mustafa Carriol, brilliantly saved by Connor Ripley. Shrewsbury 3, Colchester 2, a latest score, and Dion Charles has scored a fourth for Bolton. Everton have equalised against Brighton, even though we thought it was level earlier on. And Port Vale, thank you. Port Vale cleared the ball into the Burton half. Jasper Moon plays it back to Max Crocombe. Crocombe gives it to Sweeney, and now wide to the left-hand side. And Hamer plays it forward, looking for Des Yoshilaju. Can't bring it under control, Des. And away come Port Vale again. Divine, the dangerous Divine, is running forward to the left-hand side. A sliding challenge from Josh Gordon doesn't halt him. He's inside the penalty area. Crosses it deep to the far post. What a save from Max Crocombe that is. And then the shot on the rebound is sent wide. I think it was Loft with the effort from no more than 5 yards out. Crocombe makes a remarkable save to keep Burton level.
I'm going to give you some alliteration now, Fletch. The dangerous Divine puts a delicious ball into the Burton Albion box. I was just thinking, Fletch, about shots created, chances. That's the first save that Max Crocombe's really had to make in this game today, and it's a timely one. We're in the 86th minute, point blank, 2 or 3 yards out. What a save from Max. Great play from Divine, but this is where the game's come to. There's an edge now, Fletch. There shouldn't be an edge in this game. Albion should, I would like to have thought, being away and clear on this big pitch against 10 men, but they haven't taken the game to Vale.
Harrogate Town have got a 5th in the FA Cup at Marine. Manchester City have got a 6th at home to Bournemouth. Nathan Ake on this occasion gets the goal as Jake Caprice comes in on the halfway line and commits a foul. They're looking to get on with it quickly here, Port Vale, and they do. Ethan Chislett plays the ball to the left-hand side, and Tom Sang has got support to his left, cuts inside though and plays it to Ojo with a short ball forward to the edge of the penalty area. Infield it goes to Chislett. He clips it forward, but it goes through to Max Crocombe in the Burton Albion goal. Scarborough 1, Forest Green 1. Forest Green equalising 3 minutes into stoppage time up in North Yorkshire. Hereford 0, Gillingham 2, Cambridge 2, Bracknell 1, Exeter 0, Wigan 2, and Rushall 2, Southport 3 now in the FA Cup. Here is Jasper Moon, ball to Jake Caprice. We're inside the final 3 minutes of normal time in this FA Cup first round tie at Vale Park. Tranmere have equalised again. It's 3-3. Kieran Morris a minute into stoppage time at Broadhall Way. Ball back with Lewis Cass just inside his own half. Look where Ripley is now. If they lose the ball, he's in absolute no man's land. He's in possession, left-hand corner of his penalty area. It is remarkable. Clips it forward.
It's trust, Fletch.
Yeah.
He knows that the players ahead of him will use the ball, but what Albion players are thinking is they know they'll always go on past to Ripley. So in that instance, Cole Stockton actually blocked the pass to Ripley, who was acting as a left centre half. But Ripley would take that position up because on the far side it was Cass who stayed in possession and they didn't give the ball away.
Divine again in possession with a crossfield ball. It's Mason Bennett who's down. He slowly gets back to his feet. Ball still in play. Here is Jason Lowe on the edge of the centre circle inside his own half. The home fans can sense that their side might have it in them to nick a winner here with just 10 men.
It's not just the fans, Fletcher, it's the players as well. They think they can win this game. Even when they've won the free kick in the centre of the pitch a minute ago, they were trying to play it really quick, weren't they? They weren't biding time or thinking, oh, we're down to 10 men, let's let the seconds die down, let's slow the game down. They think they can win this game.
Alfreton through to the second round of the FA Cup with a 2-0 win over Worthing at the Impact Arena. Still 90 seconds plus stoppage time remaining at Vale Park for a potential winner for either side. It's 0-0. That's good work from Walker. Gets into the penalty area, puts the cross in. The defender falls on it, goes behind for a corner eventually. Is this the opportunity Burton Albion have been waiting for? Leyton Orient have scored a third against Carlisle. 3-1 they lead. Palace are 2 up at Burnley. Peterborough 2, Salford City 3. They're in stoppage time at London Road in the FA Cup. Approaching stoppage time here at Vale Park. 0-0. Corner will be taken by Joe Powell. Left-hand side, so it'll be an outswinger. Can Stockton get on the end of this one? He's already hit the post, remember. Powell with the corner then, sends it on its way in. Stockton does rise, but he doesn't get there. Caprice will get to the ball and nod it back to the edge of the penalty area. It's nodded in. Walker's there, offside. Flag goes up. Ripley saved anyway. The linesman on the near side gets an extra cheer from the fans who thought he should have raised his flag earlier when Stockton hit the post. And Connor Ripley's got cramp.
I'm not surprised. I'd always say a goalkeeper should never get cramp, Fletch, but his GPS must be similar to outfield players with how high he gets and wide at times.
Well, he wants to do a bit more gym work. We're into stoppage time. The fourth official's going to tell us, I reckon 5, and it is. Oh, how about that? I've not lost it. 5 added minutes to be played here at Vale Park.
At least you've got something right today.
Alfreton have already beaten Worthing. Derby County play at Crewe tomorrow, 2:45. And here it's 0-0 between Port Vale and Burton Albion in the first round of the FA Cup. Where is that magic? Caprice plays it back to Crocombe. Crocombe takes a touch on the edge of his own penalty area and plays it forward to Caprice. Back it goes to Moon. And Moon goes back to Crocombe again. There'll be a replay between Scarborough and Forest Green. Long ball forward by Crocombe, headed back to his goalkeeper nicely by Jason Lowe. MK Dons have pulled a goal back at Reading, but Reading still lead by 3-2. One of the players got cramp now. Fancy that.
Match sponsor KMF, they've selected today to play with the match.
Just feeling his right hamstring. I think it is Jason Lowe, and he's going to need some treatment. And there we go. Now, I'm sure Dino will point to this, but the man of the match for the home side has been given to the goalkeeper. He's made one good save. I don't think he's done much else, but he's made one good save. He let the ball through his hands when Joe Powell had a shot. Has he been their best player? I'm not sure that he has.
No, I think the players in front of Ripley, they've put in a huge workload to still be in this tie. And but his all-round game, Fletch, obviously he's made that great save from Mustafa Carriol, but he's probably had more touches than anybody in the Port Vale team. So in possession he's very good. So it's probably not just the goalkeeping side of things why he's been named man of the match.
Yeah, I suppose. Jason Lowe still down receiving treatment just outside his own penalty area as the clock continues to tick. Tell you what we'll do, we'll nip to the Impact Arena and get the full-time score on the big win for Alfreton from Casper Misiash.
Yes, Dave, confirmation is here. Alfreton have done it. It's their best FA Cup campaign since the 2012-13 season. They've beaten visitors Worthing of National League South here 2-0, and they are £41,000 richer. They're into the hat for the second round proper draw for the third time in club's history, as the players are just applauding their fans. I can see Billy Heath away to my left as well. Oh yes, 2 great goals, an absolutely great strike from Newell from outside the area in the second half, and then Diggy converting a corner, just steering it home to make it 2, and that was it really on the afternoon. And as I say, Alfreton have done it here at the Impact Arena. It finished Alfreton Town 2, Worthing 0.
Thank you, Casper. 41,000 quid. Mine's a pint, incidentally. 0-0 here at Port Vale. Oh dear, that is pitiful. As Ripley runs all the way to the dead ball line to pick the ball up after it had been dropped, following the treatment given to Jason Lowe, who remarkably. Is he out there still? He might not still be out there, actually. The ball's gone long. I can't see him, to be fair. So they're going to play the last however many minutes we've got with 9 players, because they'd already made 3 separate changes. Interesting. Burton have got an opportunity possibly here. Everton 1, Brighton 1 is a full-time score in the Premier League. Here's Jasper Moon for the Brewers. Still more than 60 seconds of the allotted 5, plus probably another minute on top of that. Mason Bennett left-hand side for Burton Albion. Players in yellow shirts plentiful inside the penalty area. Bennett, can he get the cross in? He can. It goes a long way and is eventually cleared as far as Ryan Sweeney. He tries to head it back towards the penalty area. There's a push on Tom Hamer that's ignored, and then Joe Powell gets a head back to Jake Caprice. Caprice runs forward and gives it to Josh Gordon wide on the right-hand side. The ball needs to be in the penalty area, Burton. You're playing against 9 men. Josh Gordon loses possession. Alfie Devine skips away from him and now races forward. I'll tell you who else is racing forward. Over on the right-hand side, it's Ethan Chislett. Chislett to the edge of the penalty area, might go for goal. Chislett does go for goal. It strikes Max Crocombe on the chest. Rebounds to Tom Hamer, and Burton can come again. All because they lost the ball level with the edge of the penalty area in the Port Vale half. Chislett with the injury time shot that Crocombe was equal to. But they've had 2 really good opportunities in the last few minutes here. Gordon plays the ball forward looking for the run of Jake Caprice. It's easily cut out by Alfie Devine. Gives it back to Ripley. Ripley goes long. Brought down under control by Ryan Sweeney. We're now into added time at the end of added time. It's all down to Simon Mather now. 0-0 at Vale Park. Oshilaja inside the centre circle. Gives it to Jasper Moon. Moon to Caprice. Back to Moon again. Need to get the ball forward if they're going to score. It finally does go forward. Hamer's on the edge of the penalty area. It comes off the defender and it's behind for a corner.
It looks like it's going to be the last chance for Albion, Fledge, but in that Chislett opportunity, it just shows the difference between the 2 teams, in my opinion. Devine could have easily just chipped the ball into the corner and then just gave his team a rest. Players are getting cramped left, right and centre. No, they went for goal. Albion haven't played like that against 10 men for 70 minutes.
Corner's been taken. They can't get the ball in the area, and then Mason Bennett and Joe Powell run into each other. They have won a throw-in. 9-man Port Vale are holding on here against, well, I say holding on, they've had the best opportunity since they went down to 9 men. Moon clips the ball to this near side. Sweeney slips. It's headed away by Tom Sang, and it's out on the near side for a Burton Albion throw in. Swindon 4, Aldershot 7 is a final score at the county ground. Aldershot was 7-0 up in that game. Alfreton already through to the second round. Cross comes in from Jake Caprice, headed down by Sweeney. Shot on the turn, and it's in from Josh Walker, and the offside flag goes up on the near side to deny Walker what would have been a dramatic winner. I'd love to see that again. Walker denied, and this game's going to end 0-0.
Finally, Albion do get the ball into the box, and there's a big overload at the back post. Ryan Sweeney leaps majestically to head back across. Unfortunately for Albion, it does look like Josh Walker is in an offside position.
There's been a dramatic finish at Broadhall Way where Stevenage have scored in the 10th added minute to take a 4-3 lead against Tranmere, who've also had their goalkeeper Joe Murphy sent off. I do hate Saturdays. Ripley takes the free kick and the referee blows the final whistle. Walker's furious, absolutely furious, goes to the linesman and asks him, are you sure? It'll make no difference now, of course. Burton Albion, who hit the post, they hit the bar, and they had a goal ruled out deep into stoppage time. Will have to face Port Vale in a replay a week on Tuesday at the Pirelli Stadium, because it's finished at Vale Park. Burton Albion, Port Vale 0, Burton Albion 0.
Thank you very much, Fletch. Yeah, tough way to end there for Burton Albion. Thought they had the winner, but no, they go on. Anyway, this evening on BBC Radio Derby, it's your chance to have your say.